Hello everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel of Being ACCA. This is Tushita Gupta and with me I have Punya Agarwal and we are both ACCA affiliates, and in this video we are going to be talking about the sequence in which you should appear for your ACCA exams. So for knowledge level we do recommend that you first go for BT. It is a theoretical paper. Most of it you have covered in your 11th and 12th or maybe in your bachelor's, wherever. So it is relatively easy and can be done as the first paper, because when you are starting off something new, it is better to start with something familiar so that you are able to get the hang of it. So the next paper would be,
I think F3. You can start with F3. Again, as she said, F3 syllabus is also very similar to what you have done in your 11th and 12th accounts, and what you have also done in your bachelor's if you have done that. So the next paper would be F3 if you are thinking of it. So yeah.
okay, so after you're done with F1 and F3, you should go with F2, because it is also again a numerical paper, although a little bit difficult, a little bit different from the other papers or other things that you have been studying. So go for that then, because you with F1 and F3 you have gotten to know about how things work in the qualification. So you're set to go for F2, and after that you should be going for F4. F4 is again theoretical and relatively easy. A lot of people also tend to delay it because it is again available on demand, so they think that they should probably start for the skills level. But in our opinion, just get done with it as soon as you can, and then you start with
F7. In skill level, I think you should start with F7 first, because you're just starting with your skill level, which is like very different, not very different, but like
a level up.
Yeah, a level up. 40% is your subjective now. You don't have 100% as objective paper. You don't have 100% MCQ based. So it is always preferable that you start with something again familiar, because some part of it you have done in your F3. It is accounts which you have done in your 11th and 12th. Of course, it is not similar, not same. You have IFRSs and everything, but again the base is same. So it is always better that you start with a paper which you are familiar with a little, and also it has like little better pass rates than the other papers. So when you're starting, maybe it gets your morale boost, and you get some confidence. Yes, I'm able to do this, and maybe I'll be able to do the qualification as well. So that you can do. And once you're done with F7, I think the next thing you should do is F8, because F8 is your audit paper, and all of the concepts of F7, all of the IFRSs, the IAS that you do in F7 will be completely utilized in F8. So if you are thinking of doing two papers at once, so you should go with F7 and then F8, like both in combination. And our recommendation would be that first complete some portion of F7 first, and then start with F8, because then you'll get better hang of F8. So yeah, and if you're not doing two papers at once, then of course you can do F7 first and then F8 next.
Okay, so once you're done with these two papers, you can either go for taxation. So in our opinion, don't go for combinations with taxation, because taxation in itself is a lengthy paper. Even though it's not difficult, it's just that a lot of topics are there in the syllabus, and you have to remember the tax rules, even though you will be given the sheet which has all the allowances and everything given, but there are still smaller details that you will have to remember when giving the exam. So just try to give it as a separate paper, not combine it with anything. And the next thing would then be to give PM, and if you want to combine it with FM. But if you're giving it separately, I would say go for PM first, because when I did this personally myself, and I thought that I was able to do FM better because I had the prior knowledge that I gained in PM. So yeah, I would say go for that. Then for the professional level,
I think for professional level, you should always start with a compulsory paper. So in our opinion, it can be it can be SBR or SBL, but in our opinion you should start with SBR. Same logic, it is accounts based. You have done part of it, like level down of course in F7. All of the IFRSs, so it is better that you start with SBR, and then you can continue with the rest of the papers. And then if, for example, if you're thinking of doing AAA in the optional papers, go for first SBR and then AAA afterwards, because same logic F7, F8, the same logic, all of the concepts that you study in SBR will be full-fledgedly used in AAA. So if you are thinking of doing AAA, then do give it after SBR.
Right. So after that, once you're done with, so what we would suggest is when you are on your professional level, go for one compulsory first,
Yeah.
then go for one optional, then the second compulsory, and then the last optional.
Yeah.
So I think that this maintains a balance between the compulsory and the optional ones, and you don't get bored of things. So we recommend doing SBR first, then picking up AAA if that is one of your options, and then the professional, the compulsory one that we did was SBL. SBL. So we recommend doing that later because it involves using some of commercial acumen, some business sense, thinking as the CFO, looking at the bigger picture rather than looking at the small expenses that are there. No longer the accountant mindset. That's what sir used to told us. And yeah, this is about SBL. And after that, go for your last optional exam. We chose AFM, so that was our last attempt and the last exam that we gave. So this is the sequence that we recommend, and this is exactly what we also did. This is the same sequence in which we appeared for our exams, and we think that we couldn't have done it some other way. We really thought that whatever things happened, it worked in our favor, and this is the sequence that really worked well for us. So we hope that it does for you too. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.